Finally, we're going to get to work in the kitchen making an incredibly delicious tomato jam. It's a perfect complement to sourdough bread and goat cheese, if you like. Our next guest spent several years experimenting in her kitchen to perfect the art of making preserves. The result is a collection of delectable jam and marmalade recipes that can be found in this wonderful book, the Blue Chair Jam Cookbook. We're delighted she's here today to teach us her technique for making jam. And please welcome Rachel Saunders. Nice to have you here. The book is lovely.
Thank you.
And how many recipes are in here, Rachel?
Almost 120.
Okay, for all different kinds of boysenberry jam with lemon verbena, apricot rose jam. Do you have plain apricot jam too?
I do.
Okay, and
yeah.
peach jams. And what's interesting about this book is really Rachel's way of making jam. And you discover in the book your passion for all the different techniques and the different flavors. And I was really taken by it. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And when did you discover that you loved making jam?
About 12 years ago, right out of college. I've always loved cooking, but I just got into jam making. I made a batch and I couldn't get it quite right, and then I kept tweaking it, and then I realized I was hooked. So, yeah.
So when did you develop all these techniques? Because like sterilizing in the oven is a good way to do it, rather than all the boiling water in the pots and on top of the stove. And you'll see the recipe. I'm just taking the tomatoes out because I think they're already... They're already they've loosened their skins. Yeah,
people are really always surprised by how easy it is to do it in the oven. But that's actually a really old school technique, and I sort of revived it. So yeah, it works really well.
So we're going to make tomato jam. Now, I've tasted tomato jam before, but when they were making in the kitchen, it was so delicious. And we're using Early Girl tomatoes, which are from California.
Yeah.
Is this a new crop of Early Girls?
I believe so. Yeah, so they're in season right now.
They're one of my favorite tomatoes to grow because they're all uniform. These are Early Girls. And do you call for Early Girls or just call for...
I do. Well, any flavorful medium-sized red tomato is fine.
Oh, okay.
But Early Girls are really sweet and flavorful.
Okay, so we have to peel these?
Yeah, so basically we just blanch them for a minute. We put them in ice water, and then we just get the skins off. And then if the cores are big, you can take them out.
Okay, but that you don't have to take out?
Not necessarily, because once it's sort of cooked in there, you won't perceive it in the texture,
Oh, okay. I'm surprised because I would always dig it out.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll peel these, and then we have to chop those?
Yeah, so basically we coarsely chop, and basically what I would do is cut it in half. And
the seeds go in?
The seeds go in. That's actually an important part of the finished product.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, they add a little pectin, and also they're really pretty. It's just more fun to eat.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And you're not adding any artificial pectin or natural pectins? You're not adding anything from any other fruit or vegetable?
No, and this is actually what I would consider a low-sugar jam. So basically what's happening is that it's thickening up because moisture is coming out more than because there's a high amount of pectin.
Okay, so it's evaporating.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right, so to how many pounds of tomatoes do we need, or how many cups?
Well, I prefer to do by weight.
Oh, okay.
This recipe, I believe, is about 9 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have the sugar and the lemon juice already there.
Okay. So
tomatoes cook down a lot, so this is actually going to make a surprisingly small amount of jam.
Oh, really?
At the end, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of moisture in tomatoes.
Okay, so we have we have the bowl, and what do you add to the tomatoes?
Sugar, lemon juice, a little bit of salt, and then also mace.
So how much sugar to this?
This is 8 cups.
Okay, 8 cups.
So yeah, it's considerable.
And lemon juice important, right?
Yes, lemon juice is balancing the sweetness of the sugar and also the sweetness that the tomatoes get as they cook.
So 2 1/4 ounces of lemon juice to 9 pounds of tomatoes.
Approximately, yeah.
Yeah, and 2 pinches of salt, not the whole thing.
Just pinches.
Just pinches. 1, 2. Okay.
Yeah, and then what I would do is, it's always good to mix it in a bowl first, just to make sure everything is really well integrated.
Okay.
So we just kind of mix it up like this, and then we can add the rest of the sugar.
And Rachel brought all the way from Oakland, California, her copper jam pots.
Yeah, these are from France, and these are my favorite pots for jam. Aren't they gorgeous?
Yeah, they are. They are. And they're not tin-lined. They're unlined pots. So we just mix this up and pour it in?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, what's so great about these pots is that they have a really wide surface area for the
I love
moisture
that
to come
big
out.
flat bottom.
Yeah, it's really easy to
Yes.
cook in. And you can see here there's some undissolved sugar, but it will dissolve really quickly as we
Yes.
heat it up.
Now, do you ever soak these tomatoes like overnight in the refrigerator with the sugar?
Yeah, you absolutely can, but it's not going to really change the finished product for this particular recipe.
Because I've been doing for fruit this year. I did that. I used the Christiane Ferber way, and she soaks all her fruit in overnight, or at least for a day or 2 or 3 in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And it really works.
Doesn't it intensify
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So bring this to a boil.
Yeah, actually, the one thing we want to do first is put the mace in.
Mace.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is actually the sort of husk that surrounds the nutmeg.
Yeah. This is the only spice in the world that has 2 spices.
Exactly.
Which is the nutmeg, which is inside, and this mace, that filigree. I brought those from home.
Yeah.
And then, but you can buy it. Who knew that you could buy such a giant mace? So just one of these?
Yeah, so if it's like this,
Okay.
you can just put it in. If it's broken up, which it often is when you buy it, you can just put it in a tea-ball and put that in. So either way.
Oh, okay. We better put it
like
in a
here
tea-ball.
we have a tea-ball.
Oh, okay. I better do
Yeah.
that. That much?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect.
So mace tastes it's a little strong. It's a strong flavor. But it's a wonderful, I love mace.
And it's great with tomato. Actually,
Yeah.
tomato combines well with a wide array of spices.
Yeah.
I like the mace because it just brings out a little bit of pepperiness.
So you bring this to a boil, and then you...
It passes through several stages and then it eventually reduces down, basically like this.
Okay, so how do you test it for doneness?
So basically what we're going to do,
look.
it's looking jammy.
Doesn't that look amazing? So did you test, do you put it on a plate or chill it or?
Yeah, so what I do, I have some spoons in the freezer.
Okay. That is, I mean, that's very thick, but not too thick. And when we come back, we're going to find out when or if our jam is done. I'm back with the owner of the Blue Chair. What's the Blue Chair?
The Blue Chair is the nostalgic kitchen.
I know,
Something
but
I associate with a kitchen.
do you have a blue chair?
I have several.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to clear that up. Rachel Saunders, and we're making Early Girl tomato jam. And we're at the testing stage, so you have a frozen spoon.
Yes, so what I did was I took a little sample of this jam, which because
Right.
it was looking done, it had cooked way down, and I put it on a spoon.
So that's 9 pounds.
This is 9 pounds, and you can
Cooked
see
down.
it reduced by about
Yeah,
half.
it sure did.
And it got really dark and shiny. So this was in the freezer. The spoon was cold to begin with. And then I took it out a couple of minutes later. And what's nice is if you feel the underside, you can see it's basically room temperature.
Oh, yeah.
So it cooled off really quickly. And what's nice about this is it's very sensory. A lot of the time people use candy thermometers, but I find that it kind of removes you from what you're actually seeing. So I like this. And basically you can tilt the spoon and you can see it's not moving.
It's not
so it's thickened up
dripping
a
off.
lot.
Okay. Is that too thick?
No, I think this is perfect
Okay.
because you want to be able to spread. And then you can also basically just put your finger in it and you can see it's very jammy.
Yeah.
And you can also that way...
The jam is ready when it's jammy. Just remember that.
Jamminess is key.
Okay. And
you can
so, so that looks fantastic.
It's
I can't
perfect.
wait to taste it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
What about the jars?
So the jars were in a 250-degree oven, and we put them in before we started cooking.
Okay. Even the tops with the rubbers?
Even the tops, yeah.
Oh, okay. That
yeah,
doesn't
that's
bother
kind of
me.
a temperature. It's not quite hot enough to do
Okay.
anything to them.
Okay.
And I like this method because it's a lot easier than the water bath.
And so where is, oh yes, it's Nancy. Look, Nancy. No dents.
That's very nice.
We were making fun of Nancy's. Hers is all, I love it that it's used, and I love it that you have not replaced it. It's great. So here's this wonderful Widemouth Jar Filler, which I think is essential for jam, don't you?
Yes, absolutely, especially for mason
So you're
jars.
doing this in half pint.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's a good size for home because if you have bigger, you start getting tired of your jam before you finish it.
You're
And if
right.
you have smaller, it's frustrating.
Right,
So
that's better.
I like
Yeah,
this
better to be
size.
frustrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I prefer...
You didn't mean that, but I mean that. Okay.
As far as filling the jars, it's nice to have both a pitcher and a ladle, I find,
Oh, okay.
because the ladle tends to drip. So what I do generally...
I
have
found a new ladle.
Oh,
It is a square ladle, and you
Oh.
pour off one corner. It never drips.
oh, that's fantastic.
And we're making it for Macy's. It's going
Oh.
to happen.
That's great.
It's going to happen. Patsy Pollock, you better be here, and you better promise me. Is that true, Patsy Pollock? Okay, there's Patsy right in the audience, and that square ladle works. So wait till you have it. Oh, I'll send you one.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Okay.
For now,
Yeah.
I would maybe get the pitcher.
Okay. Hold it underneath.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
basically, well, what I do generally, I think it's easy to pour
just
from the
to pour.
pitcher.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I understand.
And make sure it's heat-proof, definitely, like
Okay.
Pyrex.
Pyrex, like the wonderful Corning sauce frying pan.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So these are These are heat-resistant glass, too.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then basically, you would just fill them the way that you would fill them for the water bath.
Okay.
So,
So now you
basically-
do jams commercially.
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
under the Blue Chair label. Mm-hmm. Okay, and how many different jams do you make a year?
At least 50, sometimes
Oh.
up to 100.
Wow.
Yeah,
And where
like-
do you sell them?
We have a great online store at bluechairfruit.com, and then we also sell to retailers, and we sell around, yeah.
Oh, well, you will love these. So once you fill your jars and seal them, then what do you do with them?
Then, because I'm a little paranoid, I like to put them back in the oven to make sure they're sterile.
Well, because you're also
Yeah.
selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's smart.
For how long?
For about 15 minutes.
15 minutes,
Yeah.
250 degrees.
Exactly, yeah.
So isn't this a nice way to make jam? Oh, I think it's the nicest. And so we're going to finish filling all those jars, and I know that all of you are going to. Oh, by the way, Rachel brought a jar of jam and a copy of her book, the Blue Chair Jam Cookbook, for everyone in the studio audience. That's so nice. And I'm going to take a taste. So you like to eat this with goat cheese.
Yes, it's great with cheese.
Oh, yes.
This is a
Oh.
very versatile jam, though, and tomato actually, I have 3 tomato recipes in the book, and they're all a little different. They combine well with other fruits.
And look at this with tomato jam. Are you going to have a piece?
I might.
Okay. Look how pretty it is, too. And I am going to use this jam this weekend on pork chops. I love
sounds fantastic.
cooking glazed pork chops.
That sounds
and I'm going to
fantastic.
glaze my pork chops with tomato jam. Good idea?
That sounds great. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.